Yo people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another video talking about Chelsea, and we've got a lot of stuff to get off the roster, so I'm going to get stuck in straight away. Listen, I want to start by defending Christian Pulisic. I'm seeing people creeping and crawling and scouring over his social media like it's yours. Big man, it's not your social media. Don't look at it. I'm seeing people talking about, oh, he's taken Chelsea out of his bio. He's deleted some pictures. He's also deleted not only Chelsea pictures, but he's deleted Puma promo pictures, which is important to add because it's not just Chelsea, clearly. He's deleting a lot of posts. At the end of the day, who cares? I don't care. I didn't even know that he was posting certain pictures in the first place. Listen, people, you guys are reading too much into things. I think it sounds like he's deleting posts because of abuse that he's taken and copped over DMs and in his comment section. Really disgusting comments talking about shooting Americans. We know that's a very sensitive topic at the moment in terms of what's going on over there. Rest in peace to all the people and the families over there with what's happening. That is absolutely unacceptable. If you could shoot like this person, maybe you would be... No, you can't leave them comments, people, under his posts and think you're going to get away with it. That is bang out of order. And I know that's some of the comments that are being left because I know what this fan base is like. To think that you have the entitlement and the audacity to leave comments like that, and that he just has to deal with it as a 23-year-old. He just has to handle it because he's mature. No. Listen, we already know that at 23-year-old, you're not an adult. You know, yes, you are an adult, you know, by law, but you're not 30, you're not 40. He's still 23. To be dealing with thousands of people leaving abuse and leaving mad comments in his comment section is absolutely unacceptable. And by the way, he doesn't owe you an explanation as to whether he needs to keep that post up, whether he needs to tell you why he's deleted it. He doesn't need to give you any context. You are not his mother. Yeah, if he wants to sit in his room and read some bullshit online and say, do you know what, I'm going to take this down and I'm not going to allow you guys to even comment or even talk about me on these posts. I'm just going to take the whole post down. I don't even want, because sometimes you just don't want people to even see that there's comments like that on your profile. Maybe, you know, he's got family. He doesn't want his family members to see that people are leaving these type of comments on his post. So he should delete the whole post. At the end of the day, you shouldn't even care. I don't care. Why do you care? If you're in the camp that says you don't want him to be here, then you should be happy that he's taking Chelsea out of his bio. You should be happy that after 3 years of maybe inconsistent performance that he's also questioning his own future. You should be happy dancing in the rain. Why are you complaining? You know, if you want players to leave and then they also decide that they potentially would also like to leave, why are you angry? Why are you complaining? Why are you saying that means he's not proper Chelsea and he's not professional? At the end of the day, I only care about players that have been unprofessional and then it impacts the team and it impacts the manager, or they've created an environment that now affects what we're trying to do on the pitch. Christian Pulisic has not done that. He's been dedicated, he's been professional, he's played the games in multiple positions this season. Yes, he's not always performed. That's life. If you don't think he's good enough, then tata sayonara. I would obviously, I've said it before, I would have him as one of my winger options. Not necessarily a starter, but I obviously have prioritized other forwards leaving realistically in my head. But even if he does go, I'm not gonna cry about it. He's one of them players. If he goes, he goes. If he stays, he stays. But you can't dictate and try to operate their entire lives and think that you have control over them, because you really don't. And that type of entitlement is nuts. It really is nuts. This is a grown-ass man, you know, in some respects, and like I said, still developing another. You can't just expect that he's going to pander to every single need and explanation that you want from him, especially when he's copped a whole heap of crap. And like I said, he's been given his all. Whether he's been good enough with his finishing or not, he's still being put in it his absolute best out on that pitch. So I think people need to just calm it down right now and take a little chill pill. So Instagram post is not important, people. It really isn't important. I promise you. It's not impacting the rest of the team or the manager, so I don't care. Moving on. We are linked with Bissouma, and I'm going to talk about that. CFC news page, Nathan on Twitter has reported that last night. I wanted to talk about it. Of course, we spoke about it a little bit in All You Can Eat Chelsea. Yes, there is an SA case. Very important to note that Chelsea, in my opinion, will not be making any move on this player until that situation is resolved and concluded, so as they should. I think that apparently the court hearing is in the 6th of June. That's the date I've seen flying about. So once that is resolved, whatever the outcome is on that, then we will see what Chelsea do going forward from there. But we're just going to talk about the player at the moment and how he fits. And like I said, I rate the player. I've rated him for years. I think he's been performing at a very high level in that Brighton team, dominating at times other opposition higher up end teams in the table, and really putting in some great performances against other top midfielders. So he really, in my opinion, can make that leap up to a top 6, to a top team. Now he's played in a mixture of the 3-5-2 and the 3-4-3, so two formations that we are familiar with. So obviously, and in terms of style, we know Graham Potter likes to play possession. So it's not like as if he's coming from an absolute alien system, alien league, alien anything. He's coming from literally same league, experience in the same league, coming up against the same type of players and physicality and tempo. He's also played in a similar formation, and he's played in that pivot, and he's played in the middle of a 3-man congested 5-man midfield. So he's got the experience to walk into our team and play the role and understand that, you know, the way that we are operating as well, because Brighton like to dominate with the ball, and that's why I rate Graham Potter so highly. Is despite the fact that they do obviously dominate the ball, they have pretty shoddy finishing up front, but at least he's created the foundation and structure for them to express themselves and play good football and finish in a very comfortable position in the Premier League. So for this player, you know, my only thing is, if we do move to a back four, can he be that sitter in a DM role, lone DM? All the attributes would point that he can do that role. Like I said, he's played in the middle of a 5-man, but that's with 3 at the back. He's obviously press resistant. He's very good at getting around the pitch. He's very mobile, good at tackling, good at interceptions. His progressive passing isn't that strong, which is why I asked the question, can he play that lone DM role in a 3 if we move to a 4? Because then you don't have to be so progressive with your passing. You are the sitter, you are the deepest midfielder, and you can maybe give it short to those others. As long as you are able to withstand pressure and can handle being closed down, which he can, then you're fine. Obviously the 2, now you look for a bit more progressive passing, especially with a back 3 behind you, because now your responsibility as a midfielder is a lot more to get it into those forwards. Obviously we know we have the wide centre backs that push up, but we still want the progressive passing to come from those midfielders so we can apply that pressure centrally as well, and not just completely turn into this U shape, which we've spoken about before, where we go out to the wing backs and then we go from there. We want that central penetration, so to speak. So yeah, I think for me, he's a very good buy at 30 million, as long as everything gets, you know, cleared up and obviously we see the way that's resolved in June. Then we see if we can go for him afterwards. But I think, as talking about the player is a very, 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 very good player. For that price of 30 million, it looks like, with a year left on your contract, you're not going to get much better value for money, especially when we are seeing a lot of DMs and midfielders going to other clubs at the moment. While we're still not completely over the line with our ownership, we're not able to make these moves. We are running out of options. Beggars cannot be choosers. But this would not be a begging situation. This is a very, very good player, potentially be a top player once we see him obviously at the higher level in the Champions League, etc. And I think he's got all the attributes to play in this team. And he kind of gives us a little bit of what Jorginho doesn't have, that mobility in that sitting role. He also gives us a little bit of that, what Kante does with that energy. And he's able to be a little bit more of a ball-winning box-to-box midfielder. And I think he covers for them both quite nicely if they obviously need their rest and they need their time to recuperate in certain situations where they're overplayed. So I think he definitely ticks a lot of boxes. I like the player a lot. Not my first choice as a DM, as you know, that's Tchouameni, but a very solid secondary option, considering the window and considering some of the prices we're hearing flying about for other players. This would be fantastic value for money. Now I want to talk about Galvin. RB Leipzig's Croatian 20-year-old, also reported by CFC News page. Apparently, it seems like he's going to be staying at RB Leipzig to continue his development and stay for an extra year. This is obviously the left-sided centre-back that Tuchel really does like, reportedly. Now, I'm actually quite happy to hear this because I do feel like he does need that extra year. I obviously, as my preference, would prefer someone a bit more experienced, just to balance out that defence and to, you know, just allow the time frame between Colwell and a centre-back to be a little bit more smoother. I have no doubts that this guy is talented, but I also do have question marks as to whether he can come straight into the Premier League and start at 20 years old for a team of our calibre and actually not make the errors that we expect from his age group and category, which you would have to expect him to make those errors, you know, at times. Now, like I said, we've already got quite a few young players in our defence that are going to make errors. So for me, you know, I would like a little bit of experience to teach and hand over to those players. So it looks like he could stay for an extra year. And apparently that's his decision, that he wants to actually continue to stay and have that development. He's only been at Leipzig for 1 year. So it would have been a bit of a jump for him to leave Leipzig after 1 year and go to Chelsea. That's a big step. New country. You have to understand the intangibles and the personal stuff that comes with that. Ability-wise, he might be fine, but can he handle that pressure of playing for Chelsea week in, week out? Can he handle the Premier League and what that has to offer? That's a completely different league. Moving country, maybe a new language, all of these things to make a player feel settled. that is a big deal, you know, and with more experience, you tend to think that they're easier to settle and to handle all of those intangibles. So I'm actually quite happy to hear that personally from my obviously my opinion. And obviously moving on, Campos has spoken. Campos has spoken on Dembele, and he's kind of shut him down at PSG, and obviously that leaves the door open for us to make a move, but he's shut him down for potential fitness issues, concerns, and obviously the previous attitude problems. So that is something to keep an eye on, but I'm not going to get into that too much because I want to have a certain special expert come on the channel to help me talk about all things PSG actually in the near future. So I'm going to leave that one to the back of your brains. You just have a little think about that. Like I said, I like the player, but let's just have a little thinky think, because Campos is an intelligent man, and I'm starting to get a little couple red flags, just a couple. So yeah, that's an interesting situation that will be developing, and we should see how that goes. But listen, I'm going to wrap up the video now. Make sure you let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below on the Pulisic situation with the deleting of posts and the removing of Chelsea in his bio. Let me know if that's affected you in any way, shape or form. Do you need me to leave a landline number or a contact number that you can call? Or let me know what you think about Bissouma and his fantastic link to Chelsea, and what you make of that. I think that's good news, to be honest, especially when we're looking for that position. I'm glad that they're looking to actually get someone in that position as well. And obviously what you think of the other things that I've mentioned as well. And yeah, smash up the icons, subscribe to the channel. Please, we're chasing that 25k. And also, if you want more content from me and you're wondering where the streams have gone and all these things, go onto Twitch, type in Matisse Armani, and I will come up, and I'm doing daily streams on there. So you can still have the interaction, we can still have the live chat, but it is on Twitch, and we're pushing for the 5k over there. So we're working. Might have a double upload today, we'll have to see what happens. But until I see you next time, in a bit, people, peace.